In this video, we're going over the 5 best tips to prepare a property for a photo or video shoot. Let's go. Hey, I'm Nick with Table 19 Media, and before we get started, make sure that you give this video a like and also subscribe to this YouTube channel where we have tons more videos to help you take better photos and video and also help grow your brand. Whether you are a real estate agent or an assistant or a property manager or even a videographer or photographer, it's important to know the things that you can do to help make a property show better in photos and video. I've shot hundreds of millions of dollars worth of real estate over the past decade, so I've seen my fair share of the good and the bad and the ugly when it comes to properties. So here are my 5 best tips to preparing a property for a photo or video shoot. Before we get into this list, I think it's important to mention that these 5 tips are super important to know so that you can communicate with either the real estate agent, the property manager, or even the owner of the property so that they know what to take care of and what to prepare the house for before you get there to take photos or video or even show it. You can save so much time having the owner or a real estate agent take care of these things so that when you get to the property, you're not spending half of your time preparing the property, moving things around, and making it more presentable. All right, tip number 1 is to identify and remove any unnecessary items on the exterior. This would include security signs or landscape flags, even garbage bins, anything that a prospective renter or buyer doesn't need to see that's a part of the exterior of the property. Even some leaves in the driveway or on the walkway can look messy. So it's something as simple as just kicking some of the leaves off onto the lawn or off into the street, or even asking the owner to bring their broom out to sweep the walkway can go a long way. When it comes to the backyard exterior, keep an eye out for hoses, barbecues, and even toys. Make sure that if you need to wind up the hose around its hook or into its container, make sure that any toys have been moved out of sight. And then also the barbecue area or the barbecue itself is closed and tidied up a little bit. Ultimately, throughout all of these tips, less is more. So the less that can be seen, the more it will look professional, the more it will look tidy and clean. Tip number 2 is to organize or remove any clutter. Now this can be as simple as magazines, papers, letters, or even cables. When it comes to magazines, it's best to tidy them up into a small stack. If there's too many of them, maybe leave some magazines there and tidy them up, or move the stack of magazines completely out of the shot. Papers and letters look cluttery, so I would remove those completely. Now, when it comes to cables, I would do your best to either wind them up or remove them out of the shot. This is not always possible because there's so many electronics and TVs and lamps that are out and about in the shot. So do your best to hide them as best as you can between furniture or behind different things. Tip number 3 is all about the kitchen, and that is to remove excess appliances and other things from the kitchen counters. This includes small appliances like toasters, blenders, coffee makers, bottle openers, all sorts of stuff like that can be moved out of the way into another room for you to get the shot. It makes the kitchen look smaller when the counters are cluttered. Also, don't forget to remove things like paper towel holders, sponges, soaps, rags, and even the magnets from the refrigerator. When it comes to the refrigerator, I would remove as much as you can from the refrigerator. So that's the magnets, that's also photos, different letters, anything, especially from the family, personal things from the family that are on the refrigerator. I would remove as much as you can from that, put it in a basket, move it to a counter that's out of the shot, just so that you can get a nice clean refrigerator or any other large appliance without all the clutter of magnets. Again, when it comes to the kitchen, less is more. Number 4 is a big one, and I think it's so overlooked most of the time, and that is to find and replace broken bulbs throughout the house. At some point, I would walk through the property and identify any bulbs that are out. You can see if the owner has any spare bulbs that they can replace those bulbs with, but if you're in an instance where you don't have any extra bulbs with you, or the owner does not have any extra bulbs, what you can do, because you're going room by room to shoot a video or a photo, what you can do is take bulbs from other rooms and replace the bulbs in that room. So if you're in a bedroom and one of the lamps on the side of the bed is out, I would go into another room, take the bulb from the lamp, and put that in the broken bulb. You're just gonna need the bulb to be on for that shot, and once you're done with that shot, you can return the bulb to the other room. Since you're gonna be mix and matching bulbs from different parts of the house, make sure that you pay attention to the color temperature of the bulbs that you're gonna be putting into the dead bulb's spot. You don't wanna be mixing in a cold 3500 Kelvin bulb with a 5500 Kelvin bulb, because those colors will look very, very different, and then it creates a nightmare to match them up in post. Do your best to bring in the same kind of color temperature bulb into that room so that you have a nice, even color temperature. Tip number 5 is my preference, but it is to turn the fans off. Now, depending on the real estate agent, property manager, or even the owner of the home, they may have a difference of opinion as far as this, but if they do not have a preference, I would say turn the fans off. Now, depending on the technique you're using to take the photos of the property, having the fans on will most likely create a blurry circle where the fan is in the portrait. So my recommendation is to have all the fans off to avoid that entirely. Also, if you're taking video, I find having the fans on is a little distracting from the rest of the property that's below the fan. So ultimately, I'd make sure all the fans are off when I go to shoot photos or video of a property. Again, it comes down to personal preference, but as long as your real estate agent, property manager, or owner of the property has no preference with this, I would say leave the fans off. All right, those are my 5 best tips for preparing a property for a photo or a video shoot. You let me know in the comments below if I missed anything, if you disagree, if you agree, any other things that you need help with as far as taking photos or video of a property. Let me know in the comments. Also, make sure that you like and subscribe. We got plenty of more videos like this coming out in the near future. Also, make sure that you check out our photo and video courses that we have for real estate down below in the description. I also have a free PDF download of these tips that you can send off to your clients to help them get their property prepared before you're doing a showing or a shoot at their property. The download is in the description below. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.